Hi, this is Martin, Solution Architect from Lansweeper. Today I would like to show you how you can use a webhooks to create a Jira issue. So let's imagine a scenario that you would like to create a Jira issue when some new asset was discovered. Lansweeper uses a webhooks mechanism to send information about newly created asset. So we can use it and we can trigger the action and create a Jira issue. There's multiple ways how we can do it, but for today, I pick up one of the integration platform as a service called Zapier to implement this. So let's go to the Zapier and let's have a look at the, they call it Zap. There's plenty of other IPaaS tool, integration platform as a service tools, that you can do very similar things. You can trigger webhooks, you can schedule a job, you can simply create a workflow. Each tool call it differently. Sometimes they call it receipt, sometimes they call it workflow, flow, Zap. I think it's not so important. Basically, what we are doing here is catching up the Lansweeper webhook that brings some elementary data about the newly created asset, especially the asset ID. Then we go back, and through the API, we can query Lansweeper for this particular asset ID to get more details. And I can get anything from Lansweeper through GraphQL query. And finally, I'm creating a Jira issue in Jira Cloud. And this can run automatically, so anytime the new asset is captured or discovered or created manually, you will get a new Jira issue. Of course, in real life, you might want to deal it with smarter, because imagine if you discover 1,000 assets, you don't want to get 1,000 Jira issues. But this is just a proof of concept. So this automatically work. I will go later into more details how exactly we will build, and I will just show you what is the result. So I can get as a result one of these issues with a crafted summary. The summary says the new asset created with a name and with the IP address. And actually, we have another integration with Jira Cloud for, we call it a service ticket enrichment or Jira issue enrichment. And because we can automatically find out IP address or MAC address in summary or description, we can automatically try to match associated asset in Lansweeper. So with the integration in Jira service desk enrichment or service ticket enrichment, we are getting automatically matched the particular asset with this particular IP. And I can go to Lansweeper for more details. So that's it. That is our asset in Lansweeper that has been just created, and that's triggered the whole process in Zapier. Now we can have a look into more details, how exactly this is built. So we will start with webhooks and configuring webhooks on Lansweeper side. First, what you need to do is create an application. So I go to my settings, developers tools, all application, and I am going to create a new application. For the webhooks currently, we have to use a cloud application. So I'm just going to create an application. Let's call it Zap Test. Because a cloud application is designed to use OAuth authentication, we need a callback URL. For our proof of concept, we really don't need anything like this. We just need to use this for configuring of a webhook. And because the webhooks are currently connected to cloud application only, we have to use this. Maybe this will change in the future, but for now, we have to use this. So because I don't have anything like a callback URL in my application, I will just do the Google.com, doesn't matter. I need to pick up that integration. So there's nothing what I can choose for my list. So I use other, and let's say put a Zap. This information is currently used more for statistical purposes, but in the future we might change it. I'm creating an application. When I get my application, of course I need to authorize the application to access to the site. So I need to press authorize and pick up one of these sites that me as a user has access. So let's pick up our demo site API. Because of the callback URL, I'm redirected to Google as we said it, but this is not very important. So I can just close it. And now we have to configure our webhook. So I go to webhooks and I can create a new webhook, put some name on the webhook, Zap test. Need to put a payload URL. This is actually the URL when the webhooks should be sent. So this is the URL from Zapier. So I will show you where you can get it. And then you need to associate it with a particular applications. So in my case, Zap test. I already created another one and another webhook, so I'm not going to continue with the whole configuration of webhooks here, but this is actually it. Only you need to copy paste the payload URL from Zapier. Webhooks are associated with certain events. So for my proof of concept, I can leave it as it is, but I'm interested in a creation of the asset. The entities that can be updated are important, but in my case, I will use a slightly different mechanism. It's important to understand how the webhooks in Lansweeper works in these days. So when a new asset is created, you will receive not only one, but actually two webhooks. One is about the insertion and creation of the asset with some elementary information. And the second is for the update of this newly created asset with these all checked entities. But because I'm going to use a slightly different trick how I get more data into my process, I would just leave it as it is. So that's the basic configuration on the Lansweeper side. Let's move on into Zapier. So we can create a new Zap, which is actually the flow of the whole flow process. And I have already created. So I will go with some basic elements of the creation. So I go just edit the Zap, and let's have a look for the details. So I pick up the flow step or Zap step, catch a webhook or webhooks in by Zapier, and capture or take or select the event catch hook. Then I can configure. I can configure or I can get here the webhook URL that I can paste into configuration of Lansweeper here. So just show that. Oh, this is exactly where the hook URL will be placed in Lansweeper. So now the Lansweeper knows where it should send the webhooks. And as you can see, because I already sent a couple of them, this is one of the examples of the request that came from Lansweeper, and this is exactly how the insert webhook from Lansweeper looks like. So you can see the action, and for us, there are a couple of important things. There is an asset key that is actually the unique identifier of the newly created asset, and we will also use a site ID because in every query, you need to know the site when the asset is, so you are able to query it properly. So that's the first step. The next step is actually a little bit workaround, because when you receive the insert webhook, and if you query back Lansweeper through the API almost instantly, the asset is still not accessible through API. It takes a couple of seconds. So I decided to do a small delay, and I put just 1 minute delay. And if you can imagine that you do the scan daily, so you are usually okay that the Jira issue will be 1 minute later, so there's no rush. So I can afford even a little bit more delay, but I think 1 minute is completely safe. And then when the minute's over, I can go and actually query Lansweeper back with my specific question or query about the asset that has been actually currently created. So let's have a look how the query looks like. I can pick up in Zap a step that's do a custom HTTP request. So I, of course, pick up the post. I haven't found any way in Zapier how it can work with GraphQL. So maybe I'm not expert in Zapier. I work with it just a couple of hours. And as you can see, I was able to quite easily figure it out. So it's a super tool. But I haven't found any way how you can directly work with GraphQL in similar way as we do in Postman. So where you can just paste the Postman into Postman the query. So here I need to post it in JSON format. Converting GraphQL to JSON is definitely not a complicated thing, but if you have a multiple, for instance, quotation mark, you need to put a backslash in the front of. It's something that you don't want to always do manually. So you can potentially find a nice tool online, but I found a quite easy way to use my Visual Studio Code with a plugin. There's a very nice plugin, so let's have a look how this works. So this is the query that I'm actually going to use. I am querying this my specific site ID. I'm querying the specific asset. These two variables will be replaced in the Zap, and I'm using a filter for the asset. And this is actually the list of fields that I'm going to get. For the creating of a Jira issue in my proof of concept, I just need actually two properties. I need a name, I need the IP address, but okay, we can get more. We can create a more complex description in Jira issue. So I'm going to take this query that I already tested. I know this works. So let's have a look if it is working as well. Okay, yes, it gives me a proper response. So this query works. So I can go here, paste it here, and then I can just call this GraphQL to REST action. This is part of the plugin that you can easily find in the store. So now I have my JavaScript, a JSON version of the GraphQL that I pasted here. And of course, I need to replace the particular variables from the previous step. So the first step of the webhook gives me these two variables. There's a client key or site ID, and also you can find the asset key. So this is the key. This is the unique identifier of the asset. And basically that's it. Just put some authorization, and of course content type is important because otherwise you are not able to query properly Lansweeper, and let's do the magic. The final step is creating the issue. So I need to authorize Zap against Jira Cloud. Then I can pick up one of the many pre-built actions that Zap offers. So I pick up the create an issue, and actually I just configure a summary of the Jira issue. So new asset is created. I pick up the asset basic info name. That's the name of the asset, and I pick up the IP address from the previous query, previous actually response in my flow, and that's basically it. We can just publish it because I haven't done any changes. It's already published and running, so we can try to test it. So I'm going to Lansweeper user interface, and let's create a new asset. Let's call it Zap test, for instance, 10. Pick up the installation. It will be Apple Mac. It's active, and let's put some IP address. 400, whatever, and just create it. So the asset was created and the webhook was sent. Hopefully we can see here in the history of Zap. So now we can see that the whole flow was triggered and run properly. So when we go to our Jira, we should see a new issue. There we go. There's a new asset created with a Zap 10 with the IP address, so I can open it and get details about the issue. Because I just populated a summary, there's nothing more. But I want to show you here something more. We recently built an integration with Jira Cloud for Jira Issue enrichment. And we can, with the integration, we can automatically parse out an IP address or MAC address from the summary or description. So here I can see the Lansweeper and view associated assets. When I open it, I open the integration details, and automatically the IP address is parsed out and the Lansweeper is queried with this particular IP address. So you can see that I was able to find out back the newly created asset, and I can go directly to Lansweeper to find the whole details in the Lansweeper user interface. And here we go. This is the just newly created asset that I built. And that's it. That's the whole flow. Take it as an inspiration for your own ideas, because I think the creation of the Jira issue on every single created asset is probably not the great idea, but you can imagine that you can use some filters. So you can find out, let's create a Jira issue for instance, a Wi-Fi router. This is something that is usually not discovered every day as a new device, and every such new device is potentially risk if it is not authorized device. So that's just one use case, and I believe that you can bring more and more interesting stuff. So thank you for watching, and hopefully see you soon in one of our open office hours for API. And also, please be active in our community, ask questions, or help other users in our community. Thank you so much.